model range now goes from the $14,000 Kia Rio all the way up to a $60,000 plus K900. We test drove a Kia Soul, so we could get a $25 free gift card, which I haven't used yet.
Thank you, Kia.
And that was about $16,000, as base as possible. Didn't come with electric windows, they were roll up, and you couldn't use a key fob to unlock the car. You had to actually stick it in. So they have cars that are available for everyone on the lower end, for people who aren't wanting to spend as much on a car. And then they also cater to the community of people who want better value for the high-end luxury cars. And with this Cadenza and the K900, they are offering a pretty impressive alternative to either their American competitors, where for the same price you get a better quality, better designed car, or compared to its European competitors, you get all the features that they offer for a lower price point.
So we're driving a 2017 Kia Cadenza Limited. The Cadenza comes in 3 different trim levels. You get Premium, Technology, and Limited, which we're driving right now. Spec'd, it's about $45,000, pretty much loaded all the way up. Regardless of which configuration you want, there's only one powertrain option. It's a carryover 3.3 liter naturally aspirated V6, makes 290 horsepower and 253 pound-feet of torque. It's got a newer 8-speed automatic transmission, but my main gripe with this entire powertrain setup is it's front-wheel drive only. All-wheel drive is not available at all.
The good news is, at least with front-wheel drive, is if you want to drive it in the snow, it's more of a possibility because you've got the weight over the drive wheels.
Correct.
If it was rear-wheel drive only, you wouldn't really have that availability of year-round practicality.
Yes.
With the V6, you get 20 miles per gallon in the city and 28 on the highway, which these days isn't all that great, especially compared to offerings from other brands that have 2-liter twin-turbo 4-cylinders, and stuff of that nature that are going to get better fuel economy. The responsiveness of the engine is okay. You can tell that Kia is really going for a comfortable, luxurious experience with good value and not caring as much about the performance aspect.
Correct.
Driving dynamics aren't all that great. You've got drive mode selections. You can tell that they're trying hard to keep up to date with everything that every auto manufacturer is coming out with. So they've got 4 different driving modes: Comfort, Sport, Eco, and Smart mode. But none of them really changed the car that much.
Well,
in fact, Sport makes the steering wheel way too tight.
Heavy steering does not necessarily equal sportiness. Right now I'm in Sport, now it's just steering wheel it's just artificially heavy. But again, like you were saying, this is not a European sports sedan that has luxury with it. The driving dynamics, frankly, they kind of suck.
They're not great. If you want a car that is great to drive, this isn't it. But the good news is, if you want a car that's really luxurious, has tons of technology and features that for $45,000, you're getting all the stuff that sometimes even in a car that could be twice the price doesn't have. For instance, rear heated seats. That's not standard on an E-Class or a BMW 5 Series, or even all the way up to the 7 Series and the S-Class. Some of them come without heated rear seats.
Yeah.
You've also got electronic sunshades, heated and cooled front seats. What about the sound system?
It's awesome. It's a 12-speaker, 630-watt Harman Kardon sound system. Sounds great. Sort of coming off with some of the more options you come with. Heated steering wheel, heads-up display. From a safety perspective, you get blind spot warning, lane keep warning, adaptive cruise control. I mean, these are all features that you kind of associate with a high-tech, upscale luxury vehicle. And then even further, the interior on this car is very nicely designed.
Yeah.
The material choices themselves are great, and the fit and finish is extremely good. They definitely pay attention to a lot of little details in terms of how panels fit together, panel gaps, and I mean, one of the things I really noticed is this centerpiece right here. It looks like it's really soft, but it's hard plastic. So like, it's not that they use crazy expensive materials, but they did a very good job of designing it and implementing it in a way that makes it look luxurious. Yeah,
their cost savings were done in an intelligent manner. Correct. That doesn't take away from the luxury, but also brings the cost down. And I'm pretty impressed with their designers as well. Like the quilted leather side bolsters are incredible. This has, I do. This has the upgraded Napa leather. This nice looking, I don't even know what material that is, wooden
the piano
trim.
black.
The piano black is nice too.
Big fan of that. Usually I'm not a huge fan, but it does look good in this application.
It looks nice, and we've got an analog clock that looks nicer than the one in the Mercedes and Lexus. I love the way that looks. Start-stop button. The steering wheel controls, I'm not a huge fan of. The paddle response is pretty lousy. That's with the 8-speed transmission and the V6. But you've got a ton of options, from volume, calling, using hands-free,
cruise control, adaptive cruise, changing the distance, a lot of things.
The feedback on those buttons there on the steering wheel is a little weird. They're kind of plastic.
Not a fan.
But
overall, the interior is excellent. Because we are in a limited level model, there's like suede headliner, we have the full panoramic sunroof. The white leather, I think, will get dirty really easily, but it looks really nice.
It'd still be my choice. I love the way this looks.
It gives the cabin a very airy and open feeling. This car feels like a large vehicle.
It does.
Not in terms of it's ungainly or difficult to drive, but it's large in that it feels spacious and comfortable and just open. And
I was pretty impressed, actually really impressed with how much legroom there is in the back.
Great.
Even if you've got a larger passenger in the front, you still have way more than enough legroom as well as headroom. The sunroof is bigger than most cars out there. Like I said before, you've got electronic shades that fold back in a pretty nice manner. The screen, it's large, it's colored.
8-inch touchscreen.
It responds a little bit slowly and the graphics aren't quite there yet, but that's comparing it to that second category of vehicles that are more expensive.
Correct.
Compared to its competition, I mean, the Toyota Avalon, Chrysler 300, Dodge Charger, I would take this over all of them.
100%. Styling-wise, from exterior, it does look very aggressive. The previous Cadenza was sort of bland, very conservative. This one, they amped up the aggressiveness, the big second-generation shark nose grille. The headlights and taillights have a little Z-like LED running light in them. I think it's a good-looking vehicle.
Yeah, I think since they developed the Optima, since then, they've just come out with really good-looking vehicles.
Correct.
I remember when that was released, I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. You know, the K900, and then the stuff that Hyundai's offering, they're really stepping the game up. I mean, they have the reputation issue just because they're newer to the United States. And one thing I didn't know is that Kia has been around the brand since 1942. But
44 or 42?
1944.
Yeah.
But
they made bicycles.
They made bicycles, which, I mean, that's not uncommon. Toyota was in the textile business, BMW made airplanes, Lamborghini made tractors, but they didn't come to the United States until 1992, so they haven't had the time to develop that brand reputation, and because they came from South Korea, they also don't have the prestige of coming from Europe, whatever that means.
Yeah.
But I think they're doing very well from themselves, and it's only going to take a few more generations before it's almost a no-brainer if they can keep the cost down compared to the other luxury cars, why you would get this. And with the K900 and the new Cadenza,
these are legitimate luxury
awesome
vehicles that, again, they compete in sort of the premium segment, but not quite the full-out luxury. But I mean, this thing truly does offer the features that the Germans do not offer or cost more to get.
Yeah, so this car, fully loaded for $45, is cheaper than a BMW 5 Series. It's like it's cheaper than an E-Class, and it's also cheaper than an Audi A6.
Yeah.
And those cars aren't going to come with the features that you have here unless you start adding options.
Correct.
It almost fits in its own category of, it's above the level in every way of the Japanese and American competitors, and then it slots in at a price point below the European competitors.
That's how they stay competitive. And look at the Genesis.
It's a great gap that it fills.
If you ride in this, it is very quiet and isolated from the road. Tire noise, wind noise, rough pavement, it doesn't really disturb it. This is a very refined cabin to be in.
And it's really relaxing, and it's also really easy to drive. We got a heads-up display in front of me telling me the speed limit as well as my current speed. I don't know. I enjoy driving this car, and it's impressed me more than I thought it would.
Correct. I spent a lot of time driving this all around on the freeway, commuting. It's very, very comfortable and luxurious given the price range. There are also a few specific features that I really like. For example, when you're in park, you go to reverse, it automatically tilts both your side view mirrors down. If you have the rear sunshade up, it'll lower that, and then the center screen will show your 360 view camera and your backup camera, which has multiple angles. And then when you put back into drive, the mirrors tilt back up, the sunshade starts going back up, and then the camera automatically changes to the front view. So just say you're pulling out or something, and there are like 4 or 5 different angles. You can view like side oncoming traffic, and view front facing. There's really configurable, really easy to drive and park. Despite that it is a relatively longer and larger vehicle, it's easy to place in a parking lot and stuff like that too.
The exterior of this car reminds me of a more aggressive, better looking Ford Fusion. The front grille is kind of a similar shape. It looks a little bit Maserati-ish.
It does, the concave in oval shape, yeah.
Yeah, the upgraded 19-inch wheels on this car look really great. And I think a testament to the styling of this vehicle was I posted a picture on Instagram, not about this car at all. It was a picture for a parking tutorial that we did. And in the picture was a Lamborghini, a Mercedes S-Class parking, and then to the right of it, it was this 2017 Cadenza. And there were several comments that said, wow, that's a really nice new Kia. Are you guys gonna review it? But that does prove that people do find this car attractive. And I noticed quite a few people when I was parked or just driving down the road do look over at the car, kind of confused, like, what's that? That doesn't
Well, the
look
other
like
thing is, I think, because this is brand new, the 17 literally, I think, just went on sale this month, so you haven't seen these on the road yet, but soon I'm sure you will see a couple of them. Definitely, they're eye-catching. I really do like the upgraded LED fog lights, running lights, headlights. The design of them is pretty complicated. One thing I did notice, this is the only vehicle I've ever seen where it has front lights on. The LED running lights are orange. They're like a yellowish orange.
Yeah.
Every other vehicle, they've always been white. And I thought it was a legal thing, but I mean, obviously it's road legal, it's here. But it's orange LED running lights in a line, so really cool.
So as a summary, here are some of the things we love and hate about the Kia Cadenza. First off, the styling of the interior is absolutely beautiful. From the quilted leather to the nice looking dash design, analog clock, the beautiful sunroof.
Suede headliner.
They really got it right with the interior design.
Styling and the material quality and build quality. Second up is the technology that you get given the price range. This has, again, in summary, heated and cooled front seats, heated steering wheel, heated outboard rear seats, cruise control, that's adaptive, heads-up display. I mean, all these luxury and tech features are available on this vehicle, and it's great.
Last up, the value that you're getting. For $45,000, that is as high as you can spec this car,
Correct.
practically. It is so much better than its competitors, and it is just as good as cars that are out of its competition level in terms of price.
Yes.
So Kia has done a great job fitting this directly into a gap between premium vehicles and the luxury segment, and they've done a great job doing that. Things we don't like?
First off is the drivetrain wise, it's not the most modern. It's a naturally aspirated, it is direct injected, but it's a 3.3 liter V6. It does have a newer 8-speed automatic, but it's not the most fuel efficient. 20, 28, it's not, there's a reason why new automakers go into forced induction, smaller displacement car engines. I'm looking forward to when they update that.
Secondly, if you're looking for something that has excellent driving dynamics, this is not it. It's very comfortable to drive and relaxing. This is a luxury car, not a fun, sporty sedan whatsoever. But you just have to know that going in, and there's plenty of people who don't need those exciting driving dynamics. And if you don't, you can save a lot of money by getting a car that's just really good at being comfortable and luxurious, and not something that has all three.
Yeah.
Overall, we've really enjoyed our time with the Cadenza. I think it's impressed both of us a lot more than we were expecting. It's luxurious, it's very comfortable, it's isolated, the features are incredible, and the value is as well.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Like always, please browse our channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.